Welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and capital raisers in the world to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer yourself, your life, your marriage, and use real estate as your wealth creation vehicle so that you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and contribution. If what you're after is having it all, if what you desire is becoming the best version you can be across all areas, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sentimentally, and financially, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best of the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, knowledge, experience, and skills so that you can go out and crush it financially and across all areas of your life. Grab pencil and paper, sit back, enjoy, and you are welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. Please share with some of your friends, share it on your social media, share it on your stories, send it to a friend that might be or could be interested in real estate. But share it, because by helping us share it, you're helping us help other people. So to all of you who do share it, thank you. And we had to make a change on the camera because I had some issues, but we're back. So thank you very much. And I'm super excited to have Vlad. Can you help me with your last name, man?
Arakcheyev. I know it's not the easiest, but yeah, Arakcheyev.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna call you Vlad, okay? So
Sure.
today I have Vlad. He's an active investor, co-sponsor, and JV partner in over 60 multifamily units and land development, amounting everything amounts to a multi-million-dollar portfolio. He is he has a lot of experience in sales and marketing for commercial real estate. He is he's a syndicator. He's a husband and father, and I'm super excited to have you, Vlad. Thank you very much for being here, man. I really appreciate you, and you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm really excited to be here. And actually, I have to update this because since then we got a little larger. Right now,
Nice.
last time I counted, we had 497 doors, but with this last acquisition that I'm working on right now in Dallas, we should be at 524, I think, or something. So yeah, I live in Jersey. I am a real estate agent here, and that's how I started in real estate career. I just being a residential agent, and then I transitioned to, like, let's say, a little flipping here and there, and did some wholesaling, and I noticed that it wasn't scalable because you still have to grind every single day. You have to keep on going and going and going, and as soon as you stop, then your leads dry out. So what you have to do is
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep on going all the time. It's like a hamster in a wheel. So the natural progression was to go into multifamily. So after I got multifamily, um, I went to an event, a big event in Texas, and I really liked it. It really opened my eyes to speak with other syndicators. I loved it, and but I didn't know what to do, right? So what do I do next? So the biggest thing is credibility and education, and of course, there's a lot of mentorships out there, and you can. There's dozens of them, and I interviewed about a dozen of them, and eventually picked Jake and Gino. That's I picked their mentorship, and after about 6 months or so of education and learning how to network and underwrite and look at deals and pick areas and markets, even though I do live in Jersey, my market is Texas. We buy in Dallas and Houston primarily, and secondary market being Kansas City, like the whole MSA on the Missouri side and the Kansas side. And we pretty much covered the whole, not only just the Kansas, but like Springfield and outlying areas there. And I also look in the Carolinas. So I'm very focused on those markets, especially in Texas. So recently just purchased and worked on few deals, few syndications, and 4 JVs. So I'm pretty excited to be here and share my story, and of course share whatever I learned so far. Because without making connections that I have made, I wouldn't be able to do what I did and where I am now. So I'm more than happy to share what I have learned.
Awesome. So, man, so you said that you were doing something before you went into multifamily real estate. you were doing something that was not scalable, right? And you were constantly on this hamster wheel of calling leads, making deals, but as soon as you stopped, everything stopped. So what was that business that you were in before you jumped into multifamily?
Yeah, wholesaling is basically wholesaling. The typical structure is you cold call or you send out letters or texts, whatever you do, to motivated sellers. You negotiate a price, you lock them down with a contract, then you find a buyer, and then you assign that contract to a buyer for a higher price, and that difference in price is your fee, called the assignment fee. It can be anything. It can be $1,000, can be $20,000, even more. But the difficult part is you have to find a buyer. You have to have a buyer, and then also you have to have constant lead flow. Let's say if you stop prospecting, you stop calling out, you stop the outreach, then everything dries out and you don't have any more income. And
Mm,
the true wealth is the wealth of time, to make money while we sleep, to make money while we're on vacation or when we play with our kids. That's the true wealth. Where is that wealth coming from? Passive cash flow. There is no passive cash when you're working on flips, because you have to be very active. And if you don't
exactly.
do flips, then the money is not coming in. So that's where I started, and obviously now I'm in multifamily.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Right? True wealth, building true wealth is about investing in assets that compound over time, and instead of just chasing the deal every single day, every single week, you are actually now building, right, and investing into something that grows in value, grows monetarily as time goes by. So that's awesome, right? So you basically make money while you sleep. So I'm curious, Vlad, what was it that made you make that shift? Like, did one day you woke up and you were like, I'm done of making deals, I want to start building real wealth, or how did that happen?
That's a great question. Yeah, the well, actually, my wife pushed me into it because
Your wife.
my wife
Okay.
has a life coach, and when we got the real when we was started I started my real estate career. Uh, I thought, okay, being an agent is pretty cool, right? I'm working for Fathom Realty in New Jersey, selling few houses a month. It's awesome, but also at the same time, it's a grind,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we're thinking, well, what's the ultimate goal? Where do we want to end up?
Great question
Multifamily.
to ask yourself, right?
Yeah, multifamily. That's where we want to be. But everybody's like, but okay, so let's start small and then we kind of grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife's life coach said, why? What's stopping you just jumping all the way in there? And my wife said, well, we don't know anybody. She's like, well, just talk to people, find out who's doing it. Instead of hanging out with wholesalers and flippers, hang out with multifamily investors and syndicators. That's how it
Nice.
works. There's nothing stopping you. You know what the only thing is stopping you? Your mind.
That's crazy, right?
Limiting beliefs is the only thing that's stopping you from achieving your dreams. So if you want to hang out, if you want to do ground up development, go speak with developers. If you want to do syndications, go talk to syndicators. If you want to be in RV parks, speak with people that do RV parks. Go with the ultimate where you want to end up. Don't just do that stuff in between, in the middle. You don't have to. It's a waste of time. I shouldn't say what I've done in single family space, it's a total waste, because I kind of transitioned what I have learned: direct to seller, creative financing, um, things where you do loan assumptions, you do master leases, things like that. People do that in single family space. So I transferred all that knowledge into multifamily.
Oh, those
So
skills.
everything is a learning opportunity. But if I went to multifamily, I would have been a year ahead where I am now. So
That's awesome, man. So I like that, that what you just said, that insight of all of those, like you didn't waste your time wholesaling and being an agent, right? You totally didn't, because you learned a lot of skills that when you jumped into the right opportunity, right? You were able to leverage all of those skills that you came with, and you didn't start from zero. You start from experience. So that's a really valuable insight, because you like were not wasting your time. You were building your skill sets. And then there's this story that I really love, about Warren Buffett, right? He graduated from a really good university, and he had a friend, right? And they both graduated at the same time. They had the same level of skill sets. They were like, basically they started from the same level, right? No handouts, no opportunities, no nothing. And then 40 years later, right? His friend, well, we obviously know what will happen to Warren Buffett, right? He has billions and billions and billions of dollars, but his friend is broke and can barely retire, because what was the difference? Like, what was the difference between those two men, right? If they graduated from the same university, they basically had the same opportunity, and they had the same level of skill set. The difference was the opportunity, right? This guy went into the other guy, his friend went into an opportunity that didn't pay him well, and Warren Buffett went into the investing, right, industry, into raising capital, private equity, and all of that. And sometimes, the lesson from this is that it doesn't matter how hard you row, right? What matters is what boat you get in, right? So you were in a boat before getting into multifamily real estate. You were in a boat that wasn't producing you the results that you really wanted, which was building real wealth. But that didn't stop you from building the skills. And then you built a lot of valuable skills. You jumped into the right multifamily, into the right vehicle, into the right boat, and now you have been able to make a lot of progress pretty fast, right? That's what it sounds like to me.
That's
Um,
exactly how it was. Absolutely.
so that's awesome, man. And let's see, and then definitely, like, if you're looking into real estate, or if you're looking into real estate development, or whatever it is that you're looking for, into to getting into, just jump right into it, right? And start getting around the people that are doing that are where you want to go. This is why I love networking, man. And this is why I love, um, I think that networking can just help you unlock your potential across any area of your life, because there's no one, there's nothing that you could want to be, do, or have that doesn't exist already. Like, there's someone out there who is the type of person that you want to be, does the type of thing that you want to do, has the type of thing, life that you want to have. And the fastest way for you to get there is for you to connect with those types of people. And that's
Mhm.
it,
Yeah,
right?
biggest thing is people are not seeing the true potential, and because they I think they're not looking out there enough. What's happening is, like, for example, I'll give you an example. When you are a flipper or wholesaler, you work as one. There's one you, right? You do pretty
Yeah.
much everything. You can get a VA and stuff like that. When it comes to multifamily, there is no you, there is no I. You have a team of people. Because, like, for example, I'm in Jersey. How can I buy stuff in Texas? Well, I work on a team with 12 people. Some are boots on the ground, do due diligence. Some do great at acquisitions. Some do asset management. Like me, I do asset management. I raise capital. I cannot be boots on the ground, right? Because I'm in Jersey, so that's a 4.5 hour flight. Can't fly there all the time to walk properties, right? But I can call Jeff or Jen, and I can be, hey, listen, why don't we speak with this broker and walk? And they can be there within an hour in Dallas and Houston. So building a team is very important. You don't have to have all the skills, and you don't need all the skills. Find people that plug those gaps, plug those holes. Let's say if you're a developer and you need an engineer, you don't have to be one. Find one. If you want to build something, you don't have to be a builder. Put the team around you that can complement everything and plug all those holes, but make sure that they don't do the same things. Like, for example, if you let's say do underwriting, you don't need 10 of underwriters, right? You need a
Hmm.
few, maybe one, two, depending on your deal flow. But so you have to have people that have opposite skill sets of you, but at the same time that can fill all those things that you are missing, right? So that's the most important. Team building is key here, and a lot of people miss that.
Team building. Um, so why do you think it's so hard for people to do that, man? To like surround them, to basically. how can I say this? To basically be like, okay, I I'm not needed here to basically just take themselves out of the equation, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think people have a problem with that?
One of the biggest things that I had to struggle with is you have to give away some of your profits, right? So, for
Mm.
example, if I get a house, I sell it, I keep 100% of that margin. In this particular case, I have to share it, right? So I have to share 25. I get 25%. I get 5%. I get 10%, right? Also, that's one thing, sharing. Also, one of the biggest thing is trust, right? So you have to find somebody that you really trust. It's like a marriage, right? I will not work with a person unless I know them for at least 6 to 8 months. I have to know them personally. I have to know what kind of person they are. I'll give you an example. For example, you work for 12 hours a day, you're workaholic, you don't sleep, you're like a machine, and
Yeah.
your partner works for 2 hours. Would you want that person to be a partner? I wouldn't. And would you want to share 50-50 with them? No. It's very similar. You have to work very you have to kind of answer those questions and get into very uncomfortable situations by saying, for example, if your partner or partners, some of them have a W-2, right? And you're trying to call them at 1 p.m. and they're not available to pick up the phone, would you want that person to be a partner? Let's just say yes. But if they're only available after 5 p.m., do they deserve to get the same amount of money as you do?
Of course not.
It's a difficult question, very difficult when it comes to money. So picking right partners is hard. And also, like for example, one has to have a lot of liquidity so they can sign on a loan. At the same time, another person can be like boots on the ground. Me, I'm more flexible. I don't have my W-2. So I can speak with anybody. I can go anywhere. You tell me you want me in Texas tomorrow, I'm on a plane, right? A person that has a W-2 will not be able to do that. So picking a team, the right team is is key. And for people, they're scared.
Yeah.
They just they, it there's the it's fear of failure, and they're scared of relying on somebody else, not being working in a team, or giving away some of their profits. I think that's the two biggest things that is limiting people in this space.
So, talking about having a team, you've mentioned your wife a couple of times, and I'm curious,
Yeah.
is she involved in the multifamily investing career?
She has a W-2, so she helps me just answer a few questions, but ultimately, for now, I'm the driver in this multifamily space. Yeah, she does help, absolutely, but it's mostly myself.
Okay. And
She's very encouraging though, because she sees the future and the potential in it. She you know we work as a team, and she supports me in this journey. It's a difficult one because it's a long haul. You're not going to get rich over time. You might get, let's say, a property, and like right now, like I said, I worked on 520 doors, right? I've done three syndications, or worked on three syndications, raised capital, have four JVs in different states. So you don't think, I'm sitting on piles of cash. No, you have to stabilize those properties. You have to bring up occupancy. You have to have enough capex in case something happens, and then you might start distributions. So it's a build. It's a grind. You're not gonna get big checks coming in now. Big checks come in like 3 years down the road when you refi. That's when you're really gonna cash in. When you refi, get your money back, something on top
and
of
with no
that.
more of your effort, right? That's the
Pretty
important part.
much. That's the true wealth. You just sitting there, all your money is back. You got infinite returns. Infinite.
Yeah. So what type of properties do you like to invest in?
Yeah, great question. Right now we're looking at, before I was looking at smaller ones, but now there is no need. I look at 20 doors and up. I tend not to look at less due to property management, and just ease of care, I guess, for it. So 20 doors and up. When it comes to areas, I like to look at C and above type of area. I don't like anything below a C. It's just very difficult to manage. Also, everything goes down to management.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to rehab, I don't really care. We worked on lifts that can be as low as 5,000 per door, or maybe as high as 16,000 per door now, which is perfectly okay. Uh, Even if the units are burned, who cares? You can put enough money into them, make them beautiful, and put tenants in there. That's perfectly okay. So right now we're looking at 20 doors and up. Before we had a limit, and our limit was like 120 doors, maybe 100. And I'll tell you why. Another limiting beliefs, and the limit was, it was four people. How much money can we raise? That was the question.
Between us four?
Between four people. So let's say I can raise 1 million, and other partners can raise 1 million too. So we can raise 4 million. So if we calculate the purchase price minus debt, we have to raise some equity. So we figured out that we can, let's say, a purchase price, uh, a typical, I don't know, 80,000 a door. Let's say whatever it is, you get the debt. Let's say we're gonna raise $4 million. Why would we look at larger deals if we cannot get the equity, if we cannot close? So we were speaking at few conferences here and there, and then we stumbled upon our partner in Jake and Gino, very smart guy, and he goes, "Why didn't you ask me? I have a larger team. We can bring more equity, right?
Hmm.
Our team can partner with their team, so two teams join together and buy even a larger deal. So now the sky's the limit, and
That's
that's exact.
crazy, man.
It is. I mean,
So
if you
what was
think
the
about,
lesson? What was the lesson, man? I'm like burning to know what the lesson was.
so this is what he said, and I go like this, but we cannot physically manage it. He's like, we can bring the debt, some of the equity, and we can manage it together. Two teams, two different companies. And that's exactly what happened. We worked on 419 doors, where one company is doing asset management. We got the debt. We raised $8 million. Both teams together purchased $52 million apartment complex. I mean, it's huge. One team cannot do it, it's too big. But
Uh-huh.
us, both teams got together, four people, core people on one team, and about 12 people on the other team, joined forces, got it together.
And I imagine that the numbers work out, right? Like
Oh,
when it comes
yeah.
to, right? And I actually I interviewed what was his name? I don't remember the name of this guy, but he's a pastor and he has a mastermind and all of that. And he's very successful. He has like a $250 million portfolio, and he basically said bigger is better.
Yeah.
Like don't wait to go big. Like go big as soon as you can, because bigger is better. You have access to better capital, better people, better deals,
Yes,
and just going bigger is better. And
it is. For
right.
management, it's huge.
So take into consideration that the numbers from that deal, they work out, between both of the teams. What was the limiting belief that kept you from doing that much earlier? And then what was the lesson that you learned? Like if you could define it in a clear one or two sentences, what was the limiting belief that was holding you back from doing those kinds of deals? And then what is the new empowering belief and lesson?
It's super simple. Ask people for help. That's it. It's just that easy. You come to another operator and you go, "Hey, we're looking at this deal. It's too big for us. Do you want to join forces and take it down together?" That's it. It's
Just
just that
ask.
easy.
That's crazy,
It's
right?
just that easy. I mean, it's like it's the easiest thing in the world, and a lot of people are missing it. Just ask for help, and people
Hmm.
think, "Oh, listen, I'm so big, I'm buying this, and they're gonna look down on me." Nobody, everybody's asking for help. Everybody. I'll tell you this. This is a great story. So the current deal that we're on right now, we closing on it in a month. It's 128 doors in Dallas. Great deal. So we were underwriting the deal, our team, submitted an LOI. Somebody, and we called the broker. Broker said somebody else got the deal. You guys lost. No problem. It happens all the time. Hey, listen, deals come, they go. It's perfectly okay. So I'm sitting there, and one guy calls me. His name is Rob. He calls me and he goes, "Hey, Vlad, were you bidding on this deal in Dallas?" Um, and I'm like, "Yeah, we lost it. Somebody else got it." And he goes, "I got it. I'm buying it." I'm
Mm.
like, "Oh, wow, Rob, congratulations. This is unbelievable. I couldn't be happier for you." And he goes, "Well, since you know the deal from top to bottom, partner with me.
He invited you in. Damn.
Come in with me, raise capital. I'll give you a co-GP share, raise capital, do some investor relations. Come on, let's partner up on this thing." I was blown away. He could do it by himself. But why would he strain himself? You don't have to. You don't have to. You can give that responsibility onto somebody else, right? And you know what you can do? Find another deal, a bigger deal, right? Because ultimately, we're businessmen, we're business people. We're not there to do repairs, we're not there to, do stuff like that. We're buying a business. If you think about it, I was just speaking with somebody and they're like, I was just climbing under a house trying to look at leaks. And I'm like, why? What are you going to do? Do you know how to fix them? No, I was just looking if something's leaking. I'm like, yeah, but it's your investment property. Aren't you a business person? Get somebody. Meanwhile, instead of climbing under a table, or I mean, under the house, you could be finding another house,
Yeah.
finding another building to buy. Don't
Or
be
people.
climbing. Yeah, connect with somebody. How much is your time worth? You know what I mean? So this guy, I mean, he can do it himself. That guy done 10 deals. He has 330 million of assets, two exits. He's huge. He written four books, and he's calling me to partner with him, right?
That's Jake
So
and
how?
Gino? Or
Huh?
who is that?
His name is Rob Beardsley. Yeah.
Oh, I had him on my podcast, man. Rob,
Did you
yeah.
really? There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
he's like a 24-year-old kid, right?
Well, he's a little older now. Yeah, I
Like
think he's like
26 maybe?
he has a birthday. He had a birthday a few days ago. 26, I think. The guy written like four books, has
That's crazy, right?
he's closing down deals, writing deals like there's no tomorrow, and great guy, amazing operator, and we cross paths all the time. He purchased few deals that we were bidding on and vice versa. In this particular case, he reached out, and I'm glad he did, because it's all a learning experience. He sees how I work and operate, I see how he does. And also, you know what else? Check this out. So let's hypothetically say you have a deal and you be like, "Oh my god, I need somebody's help," and person like Rob can
Yeah.
help me. You're not gonna go cold and call him and be like, "Hey, listen, my name is Mike, and I know this." No, you're gonna call me, and I'll be your connection. It's a warm introduction already. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Listen, I know this guy. He's an awesome operator. Let's do this thing together." And that's how the relationships are made, by asking somebody, by doing a connection, because everybody's in the space. Everybody knows everybody. It's a small community, tiny community, multifamily, super tiny. So see, you interviewed Rob, and now you're interviewing his partner.
Exactly.
So
That's crazy, right?
it is crazy. It's a tiny, tiny space, tiny space. You go to. I just came from Houston, MFIN, right? Multifamily Investors Nation. 800 people. I knew half of the room, at least, and another half heard them from me, and it's basically like a crisscross of people. They're like, "Oh, Vlad, yeah, we heard Vlad from this guy." Everybody knows everybody. So that's how it all works. It's all about relationships, and what you said in the beginning, net worth is your, who you, that's exactly how it is. Know people.
Hmm.
So
So, man, so this, you right now, right? So you said 20 doors and above. Um, Bigger is better. Area C and above. So what is Area C? Tell us a little bit about
yeah,
the
yeah,
different
you
class.
basically you look at different areas in a town. You have A, B, C, D, right? A is your top of the line. I don't know. Let's say New York, you're looking at Park Avenue, like best of the best. Overlooking Central Park, stuff like that. Then you have B areas, maybe moving outside. You're looking at that, and you see what people live there. Also, you see, like, for example, you have blue collar, maybe higher upper class B's. Just that's C. You have like strictly blue collar, maybe a little lower, and then D is like really bad, I would say, lower class, maybe dirty areas, maybe you know, not as policed as others. So it's a classification of an area
Hmm.
typically, and also you have classification of a bit. Well, it sometimes you can say A minus, B plus, B minus, but let's just say A B C D for the. And the same thing you go with the building. A is brand new builds. Then you have B's. I look at C's. I like C that's built like in 1985, 1980 and up. Why do I look at that? Because you can add value to the building, right? You can
Yeah.
renovate, increase the rents, it increases your income or NOI, and obviously it increases the value of the building. Uh, when it comes to A, there is nothing you can do to fix up. It's a brand new apartment. I mean, what can you do if it's built last year? What can you possibly do? So
Nothing.
it's a different, yeah, it's you buying it for a different purpose. I'm buying to kind of if you think about it, it's like you flip a building, you fix it up, you hold it for 5 years, and then you sell it for a higher price. You stabilize it, sell it for a higher price.
Nice.
So I'm looking
So
for 1980 and 1985 type of buildings. And why 80, you might ask? That's another great question I hear. A lot of it has some to do with plumbing and electrical.
hmm.
Prior to that, there was a lot of aluminum when it comes to electrical. Anything above 85, they started. I mean, copper. Now they started. Copper and aluminum was mixing together when it comes to electrical. So we like copper. We don't like aluminum. And same thing with plumbing. So those are the big things that we look for. Breaker boxes, and plumbing and electrical is one of the big things that we usually fix.
Nice.
When it
So
comes to,
so then you're definitely looking to add value to this properties that that you're looking to invest in.
yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that you are one of your key roles is operations and investor relationships. So basically raising capital. So when it comes to operations, you know, what exactly do you do? Are you in charge of like overseeing
Um,
the value add?
yeah, it's basically asset management. I should have said asset management. It's kind of a better way of putting it. So when it comes to asset management, you managing a property manager, right? You have a property manager in place
Okay.
that is running the place. So if there's a toilet broken or something needs to be fixed, they call a property manager, and property manager is doing that. So they also work on that. They work on your grounds. They do that, and then you speak with them. We speak weekly with our property manager and make sure, and they provide us with a report. How many people left? How many people renewed? What needs to be done? Are there major things that are, we need to do or we need to work on? Like, for example, right now we're working on removing few trees because the roots seem to be damaging the foundation. So we're working on bids to remove the trees. So we told the property manager, hey, listen, get 3 bids. Let us know how much it's going to be to remove the trees. Also, the paint on the balcony seem a little weathered. So now we're speaking with a property manager to see how much it's going to be to paint the
Hmm.
balconies and do a refresh. So this is just some of the things that we speak with as asset managers with the property manager to
Yeah.
see how they are going to execute our plan and basically to see our vision,
That's awesome.
like a 5-year projection.
So you're not painting, you're not doing anything, not any of the work. You're like overseeing everything and doing the thinking, right? And
Yeah.
then getting the manager to get the people who are going to do the work. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. You're
Um,
a business person.
exactly, right? Yeah. So your job is thinking, right? So now I get it, right? And now this past deal that you worked on, what kind of investment structure did you use? Did you use a JV or a
No, it
syndication?
was syndication. It's too big. The current deal, I'm just, yeah, I can talk about the current one or the past one that just happened, $419. It's a syndication. JV, when it comes to JVs, they have to be a little smaller, because when it comes to JVs, a group of people come in and buy it together, right? And they're usually partners. Well, like previous GV that I've done, four partners came in, all put down $50,000 and purchased, and everything else came from the bank, and we purchased it. So it's a fairly small number. When it comes to a syndication, we usually typically, when the purchase price is fairly high, like 52 million, or the current deal that I'm working on is 15 million, it has to be a syndication. And the way it works is like this. It's very similar to a movie. I'll give you an example. When you go to a movie theater, you sit there and you watch in the very beginning, and you see like Orion, MGM, Sony. Those are the companies that got together, pooled their
Yeah.
money together, and made the movie. And then they're gonna split the profits after the movie goes into after it goes into like HBO, or into a movie theater. It's a movie syndication. Same
Hmm.
thing when it comes to apartments. Us as general partners, you have general partners, we active. So we make decisions on what to do with the building, right? It's not a lot of us. In this particular case, it's only 8 people, right? So 8 people, we pool our money, usually 10%. The other money comes from LPs or limited partners, right? They're passive. So they give their money into the project.
Yeah.
They're completely passive. They don't make any decisions, but they get all the benefits. And by benefits, they get passive
Returns.
cash flow, they get
Mm-hmm.
distributions, they get huge tax savings. Huge tax savings. So whatever they receive, whatever gains they receive on
They're not
sale
taxed.
or refi, it's pretty much virtually tax free. Yeah,
Oh,
that's how a lot of billionaires who are in multifamily space pay pretty much zero taxes because of this thing called depreciation. We depreciate the whole building. As the structure sits, it wears out. It
uh-huh.
gets older, even though it increases in value, but it wears out, like the roof, siding, everything. We write it off, and we get a form called K1, and you offset the gains with that depreciation. I don't want to overload you with a bunch of like specifics, but basically we can write off uh chairs and lights and kitchen,
Yeah, for
refrigerator,
sure. Mm-hmm.
floor. I mean, anything that you can think of, even grass and bushes and parking lots. The only thing you cannot write off is dirt, because that doesn't depreciate. It's just dirt. But
Yeah.
everything else, including like you whatever you can think of, you depreciate, and then there's this thing called cost segregation. You do a cost segregation study, you increase depreciated, so you do accelerated depreciation basically.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of depreciating a building in 27 years, you do it in 5 years. So just to give you an example, this is pure, very simple. On $100,000 investment, typically 65 to 70% is a tax write-off, which is huge. So let's hypothetically say you make $10,000 a year on the syndication, being passive, not doing anything. You give me 100 grand, I do it. You sit, sleep, play with your kids, do whatever you want to do. You make $10,000 a year by doing absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
and you get 60%. to write off that gain. Whatever is left over carries to the next year, and then the following year, and then the following year. You don't
That's
lose it.
awesome, man.
It follows you. It follows you indefinitely. Just to give you an example on 5-year projection, how it works. Just like this, you get roughly 8% cash on cash return. So that's
Hmm.
approximately 9,000, $8,000 to $9,000 a year. And when we sell, you get like a check for, I don't know, 200,000.
Cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Where can you make
Nowhere
20%
else, man.
return on your investment? And it's pretty much tax free.
Yeah. So man, so then from this 15 million that you need to raise, or I don't know how it's going with that, but 10% from that, so basically 1.5 million is coming from you, from the partners, you and the other 7 people. And then the rest of the money, which is about 13.5 million, that comes from limited partners, right? From investors.
No. 60% of the capital comes from a bank.
Okay.
Right.
How
So
much percent you said?
we need to raise 8 million only.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so we're raising only 8 million because we need to raise money to do repairs and also for closing costs. Things like that basically.
Yeah.
Closing costs is a significant chunk, and our money comes in as well. So 60% of 50 million comes from a bank. In our case, Freddie, we got a loan for 5.6% for 7 years, fixed rate.
Nice.
We locked it. Great rate. Everything is awesome. Then 8 million comes from limited partners, and we use that money to basically operate the building. We do repairs. We use it for closing and things like that.
So limited partners, who are these people, man? In your
Anybody,
case. Okay.
anybody who has money to deploy, and I'll give you an example. Limited partner can be anything. For example, a doctor, an attorney, an IT engineer, another business person. Because let's just say this: a doctor spent 8 years or however long in school, got their MDs and stuff like that.
He
They
knows how to
have a
be a
lot of
doctor, but he doesn't know how to multiply his money, right?
exactly, and he has to work nonstop. Meanwhile, he has a lot of money. So what do you typically do? 401k, okay, fine. You may have self-directed IRAs, you may go to stocks, but they don't produce the results that multifamily produces, right?
Yeah.
And also, do you see what's happening with stocks now? Oh, you can put it on savings. Yeah, okay, you get 2% on savings. What's the inflation these days? 10% at least.
Who knows,
So
right?
so
That's
technically you're losing
yeah.
8% on the money that is sitting in your 401k or in your savings account. You're losing. If you would invest in multifamily in this, and it all varies, but I'm talking about this particular case where the IRR, internal rate of return, is 20%, and now you're investing at 2%, or let's say, let's go 5, just for the ease of numbers, you're losing 15%. That's the
Hmm.
money you could have been making, and most of that is tax free. That's the big thing. It's not because so I'm speaking with a lot of people, and they go like this. Oh yeah, uh, so 200,000. It might not seem a lot. I can do 4 flips, right? I can do 4 flips, and I can make that money. I'm like, that's perfectly fine. You can do that, sure. How much are you paying in gains? And the guy's like, oh boy, yeah, my tax bill is astronomical. I'm paying like $80,000. I'm like, exactly. Let's do this. You do 3 flips, you invest half of that money into multifamily. The tax benefit will offset the future gain on your flips. What do you think about that? The guy's like, how come nobody told me about this? I'm like, you didn't ask.
Yeah. So man, I'm having so much fun, man. I lost track of time. We have about 5 minutes. I want to be respectful of your time. Um, and I like to end my interviews with 5 questions. So I'm gonna ask them fast. And the first one, man, is what is a false limiting belief that you had and that you see other, younger beginner multifamily investors have that is false and holds them back?
Yeah, it's literally believing in yourself. I think the not believing in yourself is the biggest thing. Read books, and one book that I read, picture yourself in 20 years and then bring it back to today. So what do you have to, like, in 20 years? What would you do in 20 years if sometimes you go like this, my God, if I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
apply it to now.
Hmm.
Picture yourself, what are you going to know in 20 years? And you'll be like, oh my God, I should have done that 20 years ago. Do the same thing.
Yeah, that's an amazing insight. You're not in control of the circumstantial things of your life. Right? You want to have a car, a yacht, whatever. But what you are in control is of who you are going to be, right? So, like, you could picture yourself being whoever it is that you want to be, right? And then that person will have the results, and then you can, push that back and start being that person right now, and that's in 100% of your control. I love that.
Of course.
So, man, the second one is, what mindset shift or empowering belief should you have to be successful in
Yeah,
the multifamily real estate
you
investing?
have to work on yourself. It's a difficult question. That's actually the hardest thing to do, in my opinion, and I'm working on it constantly. What I do is, personally, I started doing yoga. I started doing meditation, very important, exercising all the time. You have to free your mind. Your mind is the only thing that's holding you back. Listen to Lou Coran, to motivational speakers. I don't know, Tony Robbins, whoever you like, whoever you associate with. But stop with the limiting beliefs. Just go for it. Don't wait. You
Hmm.
can educate yourself forever. You can be the smartest guy in the room. You don't have to be. Just put yourself in the room with smart people. In my
Nice.
opinion, I want to be the dumbest in the room so I can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
don't have to be the
Awesome.
smartest.
So, man, the last one, I don't know what's gonna happen. So, I'm pretty new to Teams, and I had a notification that the meeting was going to end. I wasn't aware of that. So, right now in 59:55, it might end. I don't know what's gonna happen. It might like stop. If it does, could we like come back? Like if it stops?
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm just gonna keep on going. So the next question, and then we're gonna have my team is going to edit this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the next question, Vlad, is building relationships and networking is key to be successful in the multifamily real estate investing game, raising capital, finding deals, and all of that. So what networking advice or strategy can you give on that, man?
Yeah, talk to everybody, literally. Number one, you have to be out there on social media. You have to do podcasts like we're doing now. You have to go to conferences. You got to go to events. Like, literally, you know what I'm doing now? I'm at a gas station. I see somebody's pulling up in like $200,000 Bentley or something like that. I
You
just
talk to
come up
them.
to them and I say, hey, listen, my name is Vlad. I see you very successful because you have an awesome car. May I ask, what do you do? And it's an opener. It's an opener to a conversation. They might say something that's going to change your mind, that's going to click. Talk to everybody, be out there, go to events, speak with everybody. And the most important thing is, just 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 do not stop moving forward. Just put yourself out there, don't be afraid. And one thing you got to remember, if you're uncomfortable, that means you're doing something right.
Nice.
Be comfortable at being uncomfortable, then you will be successful.
Awesome, man. The last question is, knowing what you know now, Vlad, and then also the people that you've met and everything, knowing what you know now, what piece of advice would you give yourself, right at the beginning of your investing journey to be or to make yourself go faster, have everything more easier or have a smoother journey, right? Like if you could give yourself some advice before you even went into um what did you call wholesaling, right?
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself?
Yeah, being afraid. being in a comfort zone. Do not be in a comfort zone. If you're in a comfort zone, you're just cruising. You're being average. You don't want to be average. You don't want to cruise. You have to be successful. You gotta go up. You always gotta move up in an upwards trajectory. Never just stay still. Always have fire. Always be driven. Read, educate, and speak with people that are doing the same thing. I get energy when I get into a room with 800 people that buy 5,000 apartments, 15,000 apartments. I feed off that energy. And they're just regular guys. They're regular guys. I mean, come on, it's no big deal. And if you're doing that, you're like, oh my God, I can do that too. If they're doing it, 5 years and they have 10,000 apartments. Come on, it's doable. The only thing is stopping you is limiting beliefs. Just drive forward, keep educating yourself, talk to people,
Awesome,
connect,
man.
educate.
Well, man, thank you very much, man. I've had a lot of fun. Um, I had a lot of fun. It was incredible. I really enjoyed talking to you, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here and for providing so much value. So you know that this is it. This is the end of the podcast, man. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, connect with me on social media. I'm out there, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram now. I'm TikToking even. So I'm more than happy to help. If you're looking to invest in multifamily, I'm more than happy to provide value, to teach, educate. If you want to be an LP and grow with us, absolutely. We have constant deal flow. You're more than welcome to reach out, see if we're the right fit. If we're not, I can definitely recommend you to other investors that might be the right fit, because it just depends. People are
Hmm.
looking for different things. So yeah, absolutely reach out and let's talk. And I'm here to help for sure.
Awesome, man. And I have all of your social media, so I'm definitely going to put your social media wherever this attends. And
Yeah.
then your website, right? For anyone who might be interested in investing in multifamily with you, is let's see, zonticventures.com, which is
Yeah, the
Z
funny
O.
thing, Zantik in Russian, it's umbrella.
Cool.
Yeah, so
ZonticVentures.com. We're going to put that as well in there. Thank you for listening to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate you, and we're super grateful about being part of your journey of becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur and having it all. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will be impacted positively. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be across all areas. And if you thought this episode was really valuable, share it on your social media as a post or a story. We have a special gift for all of those who contribute to the Modern Kings and Queens movement. So for those of you who decided to share this episode and help us spread our message, send me a message letting me know on any social media platform at Alex Ramirez, the Modern King. I have a special surprise for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.